Niger Army spokesman Colonel Major Amadou Abdurrahmani there. In a bid to avert the coup, which is now in force in Niger Republic, President Bola Tinubu, in his capacity as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, has sent a delegation led by the President of Benin Republic to mediate in the military standoff. President Tinubu warns that any attempt to truncate constitutional order in any ECOWAS country will not be tolerated. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde has more.
President Bola Tinubu has called the situation in Niger Republic unpleasant. This meeting with President Patrice Talon of Benin Republic is an urgent intervention and efforts to mediate in the ongoing standoff in Niger Republic that already threatens the country's democratic process. The situation in Niger is a litmus test for the Economic Community of West African States, and it will also test the resolve of President Bola Tinubu as chairman of the regional body that has renewed its commitment to ending military takeovers in West Africa.
Of our neighbor and the military misbehaviors in that particular country. And that is what is here.
In a separate meeting, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, led the principal officers of the House to be formally introduced to President Tinubu. This will be the first meeting with the President since their recent appointments. But he also disclosed that he had earlier briefed President Tinubu about his interface with the striking National Association of Resident Doctors.
It's a work in progress. I'm sure some of the issues that they have raised, if we can be able to meet some of their expectations halfway, of which we are on it, I am sure one or two interventions in their areas of concern will prevail on them to come back to the negotiating table and also accept to withdraw that strike action there. Yeah, what he said is that he is just coming on board. We should ask them and beg them to please give him a little more time.
But the meeting between President Tinubu and the President of Benin Republic seems to be one of the most important engagements for Nigeria's president. Yes. The world will be watching to see how ECOWAS, under his leadership, navigates through this crisis in Niger and also prevents military takeovers across the region. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
To begin in Niger Republic, where a group of soldiers have announced the overthrow of President Mohamed Bazoum. Niger Army spokesman Colonel Major Amadou Abdurrahmani appeared on national television to make the announcement on Wednesday. Colonel Major Abdurrahmani said the decision was made due to the security situation in the country and the poor economic and social governance. This latest development comes after reports that members of the elite guard unit were engaging in an anti-republican demonstration.
Ce jour, 26 juillet 2023, nous, forces de défense et de sécurité, réunis au sein du Conseil national pour la sauvegarde de la patrie, CNSP, avons décidé de mettre fin au régime que vous connaissez. Cela fait suite à la dégradation continue de la situation sécuritaire, la mauvaise gouvernance économique et sociale. Réaffirmons notre attachement au respect de tous les engagements souscrits par le Niger. Nous rassurons la communauté nationale et internationale par rapport au respect de l'intégrité physique et morale.
Away from that, an FCT High Court sitting in Maitama has struck out an ex parte application filed by the Department of State Services to secure an order to detain the suspended former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, for 14 days based on fresh evidences they claimed to have uncovered. The application was filed before vacation judge Justice Hamza Muazu. Justice Muazu questioned counsel to the DSS on the court's jurisdiction to grant the order in view of the provisions of the law which vests exclusive rights on the magistrate court to grant detention order. Counsel to the DSS got the hint from the court and applied to withdraw the application. The judge subsequently struck out the application for being an abuse of court process and for lack of jurisdiction. The DSS had on Tuesday picked up the former CBN governor from the Federal High Court in Lagos after he was granted bail in the sum of 20 million naira by Justice Nicholas Owebo. To the National Assembly, where the Senate has condemned in totality the sit-at-home order imposed on states in the Southeast region and its impact on the economic welfare of its citizens. The Red Legislative Chamber also wants the federal government to collaborate with the Finnish government to extradite Simon EKPA for prosecution, considering his involvement in the matter. We have details in this report.
Amidst protests in the southeast over the sit-at-home order imposed on citizens in that region, the Nigerian Senate is calling for practical solutions to end this impasse. The Senate says it is worried by this disturbing trend, which has significantly affected the economic stability of the region and its citizens, and there are fears that if this issue is allowed to fester, it could degenerate to a national crisis.
The Senate should condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon EKPA, who is a gang leader. 2, urge the federal government of Nigeria to collaborate with the Finnish government and extradite Simon EKPA for prosecution. 3, urge the federal government to use political solution and approach in handling the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Mr. President, it is common knowledge that our brothers from the Southeast largely hold the commerce of this great country. If commerce, therefore, is shut down in this part of the country, I'm afraid it indeed a national problem that I think should be treated as a national challenge.
All of us in the National Assembly, we have met. Everybody has condemned it. I need the Senate to know that there is no one in the Southeast except the criminals who support this sit-at-home.
These boys have caused an industrial problem in our area. And where he represents Senator Abaribe, they are mainly manufacturers. And Aba is a manufacturing hubs. None of the industries can open. People have suffered so much.
The Senate is now seeking the intervention of the federal government as it also expresses concerns about the seeming incapacity of the concerned state governors to arrest the situation.
This must stop. Nigeria is not a banana republic. So, Senator Ifeanyi, you've had an experience because you were once attacked. I want us to provide solutions in this motion, practical solutions. And then our committee on legislative compliance will also go ahead after we have communicated our resolutions here to find out the compliance, to find out what the security agencies are doing.
The upper legislative chamber urged the federal government and security agencies to utilize technology in tracking the criminals and ensure that justice is served. The Senate also observed a minute's silence for victims of violent crimes across the country.
The Senate notes with sadness